Kalal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai Ba'Shem Rakha Chodash. This is Malak Maganya from GMS Toronto 2, giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. I want to say a double honors to the apostles of GMS and to the elders and to the men and women who cry and sigh for the abominations that are done within and without. Okay? As you can clearly see here. So simply put, in the time of the mark of the beast, I can simply say that, okay? Starting with the apostles of the great millstone, 15 to 20 years. And those who came along, right, added to the fourth generation mercy of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, starting with the fourth generation, starting with the apostles, okay? And in the final segment of the fourth generation, let me be clear, and the fifth generation, the Lord in his mercy spawned it out. So there's a lot of fruit, okay, that the Lord has brought forth, and definitely we get to live to see it. 15, 20 years, some men, 15, 20 years, you have 10 years, 5 years, and it's been a great blessing. Right, and we came through. The Lord brought us through this particular time here, basically. Right. So today I'm going to look at the quotes, a few of the quotes here, and simply put, starting with Israelites, the Israelites who I'm going to say choose to do this thing here. All right. Now, I'm going to start with the quote, like I said, the title quote of what you see here. It says, they said you couldn't get COVID if you were, okay? And I'm saying this, okay, living through the experience and understanding how these things work. They weren't wrong for saying this. Okay, they weren't wrong for saying it. Okay, so they can't give you the answer that you want, but they gotta simply protect themselves. But the point is, they're not wrong for saying it, and I'm going to show you in Scripture. Okay, and again, let me be clear. Disclaimer: I'm speaking to the house of Israel, and namely the elect. Okay, when I'm speaking. As far as the Goyams and the rest of them go, I don't really care too much for them, right? And I'm not speaking to them, right? Because they're going to follow along with what is said here, right? And of course, 2/3 of our people, like I said at the beginning, well, I didn't say that at the beginning, but referring to 2/3 of our people, but like I said, I'm speaking to the house of Israel first and foremost. So, but the spirit of Babylon and the spirit of Sodom and Egypt, right, is here. There's no doubt about it. It's revived. It's the deadly wound is healed, so to speak, for lack of better words, and this system is circling the drains, man, and. There's nothing good here, but you gotta live. You gotta trust. The just shall live by his faith, walking in the valley of the shadow of death. Okay. So Fauci, just like you see it here, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and these people here that you see, you just have to do some history. Just do some research, man. You can Google these people and understand where they're coming from. Right, and the spirit that's on them. So I'm going to go to Genesis 3. Right, Genesis. I'm going to start there. Okay, right, going into the statement. Okay, going into the statement. Okay, so let me give you a quick Genesis 3:1. It says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai our power had made. And he said unto the woman, Ye hath God said, You shall not eat of the tree of the garden. Okay? It just simply means you can know everything about the tree, but don't get into the don't buy into the philosophies of what is being said. Don't buy into it. Okay? Simply put, don't eat of the tree. Right? Right? So I'm going to just get to the point, but you get the drift. What I'm getting for, you shall not eat of it, nor touch it. So the command is given, right? The command is given. Verse 2, verse 3, right there. Okay? All right? Verse 3, Genesis 3 and 3. But the fruit of the tree, which is in the midst of the garden, Most High Power said, Ye shall not eat of it, you see? Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Know about it, right? But don't partake of those philosophies in regards to that tree. Know what it's all about. The Lord is going to bring you through the valley of the shadow of death. No doubt about it. Simply put, I'm using this verse just to show, what the elect will go through, what the nation of Israel will go through. Okay, but I want to get to the verse to the point that I want to get to. Okay. 1 second there. And while I'm doing that, actually I forgot the verse that I wanted to get, but it's there in Genesis chapter 3. But let me get it. Let me just type this in here. Bear with me. Right. Just get that here. 1 second. One second. I'm almost there. It's a little technical here. All right. So, yeah, Genesis 2 and 17, right? It's a chapter before that. Now, it's there in Genesis 3, verse 4, which I didn't read for you, all right? But if you eat of the tree, all right, verse 3, let me get there, and then I'll go to verse 17 just to tie it in. It says, all right, so this is going back to the words of the serpents, okay? Genesis 3 and 3, it says, But the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden of the Most High Power had said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither ye shall touch it, lest ye die. Verse 4, And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. You see? You shall not surely die. You take this thing, you will not surely die. Right? If you don't take it, you might die. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but you get the drift. You get the drift, right? Let me read one of these quotes here before I go to verse 17, just in case, you think I'm playing around, right? So this is history, which was prophecy when it happened, right? 7 years, almost 8 years ago, okay? Since it started up, okay? So Joe Biden, he said, you're not going to get, if you have these things, right? So not now, there's no talk about these things. But there's Hamza virus, there's many other plagues, right? So yes, I agree with them when they said, hey, if you take their thing, you'll be safe. Now, I didn't take their thing, okay? Because I'm not going to eat of that fruit. Yeah? Straight. All right. You get the drift. So I'm going to jump down to the 17th verse. All right. My last precept in here. And it says, and Adam, Genesis 2 and 17. Let me go over to the other book. All right. 2 and 17. Genesis 2 and 17. Final verse from here. It says, but of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in that day thou eatest, there thou shalt surely die. So who are you going to believe? All right? So the issues of life and death belongs to Yahweh Baal Shem Yahushai, man. So the Lord only requires faith and fear, right? Well, you got to believe. You got to believe, right? Because, the elect, starting with the elect, Israel, they are still born of the mind, but the Lord did not choose them at this time to go through the fire on this, to be passed through the narrow, okay? But he's got them. So, but the just shall live by his faith, right? So let me read that again. As a matter of fact, let me read it in the Gen2, the NLT. Genesis 2:17, it says, except the tree. You know what? Let me read from verse 16 for you. It says, but the Lord of power warned him, you may eat freely of the fruit of every tree in the garden, except, right, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You see? If you eat it, you are sure to die. To die, says Yahweh Baal Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? One says you shall not surely die. So, like I said, they weren't they weren't telling you a false statement. They just want to get you to take their business. Anyway, you get the drift, right? Now I'm going to leave you with some other scriptures here real quick, so you can go into the coming of the day of the Lord, the vengeance that is reserved for the disobedient, right? Those who those who will take the mark of disobedience, and this was a precursor to all of that. That's why we're looking at this. It's going to get real up in here, right? So Wisdom of Solomon 1:11 and 12, if you can receive it. Sirach 5:47, and this will make it clearer. 2 Peter 3 and 3, and 1 Thessalonians 5:2 and 3. Okay, so yes, I can basically shut it down here, right? And I'm gonna close off with I'm gonna close off with two scriptures. I'm gonna go to Revelation 14:9. So there's a warning given, okay, and then I'm gonna close off with Wisdom of Solomon 14:27. Okay, so let's go to Revelation 14 and 9, because simply put, you got to see the how solemn this is in the hour of temptation. We're in the early aspects of the hour of temptation, when that mark is urged when the Lord give the command for that mark to be urged, to be brought forth, to be mandated and made law, when all hell is going to break loose. Okay? So, yes, let's look at Revelation 14 and 9, right? So, for those who will receive the mark of the beast, the results of rejecting the truth. So you can reject the truth, right? Either way, you're rejecting it by your allegiance, okay, and by, of course, taking the mark of disobedience. Okay, so Revelation 14:9. I'm going to go straight to the point. So, doom for worshipers of the beast system. That's NATO and the EU, right? The warning is, don't eat of the tree of good and evil. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Eat any other tree except that one. So any other tree goes into the pure gospels. Okay? Pure. Tree of life. Starting there. Okay, so I'll start at verse 8. Revelation 14 and 8. And there followed another angel, saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she has made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Man, you see, there's that wine again, right? Right, of her fornication. Verse 9. Okay, that wine is synonymous with those doctrines of philosophies of Babylon. Okay, it's a mess here in regards to that. Okay, Revelation 14:9, it says, and a third angel followed, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, verse 10, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath, okay, of our power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture, no mercy, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. You see? So yeah, the Lamb is to be worshipped. Okay, the Lamb is the lawyer, the mediator of the covenant, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords. He is Yahweh's right-hand man, so to speak. Okay, all things are invested in him. He controls everything as well. Okay, simply put. Okay, straight. Yeah, and so you know that, but that's a point there, right? That's the point, man. There's no mercy. There's destruction. And those who, you know, so don't take the mark. And more importantly, don't drink. Okay, let me say this: if you worship, okay, if if you worship the beast and his image, man, you're going to take the mark, and you're not going to be exempt from judgment. Ezekiel 9:4. Okay, you will not be exempt from judgment. Straight. Hey, that's what the Lord says. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai says. All right. So that's that. So just wanted to bring that out real quick. But let me get to Wisdom of Solomon here. Wisdom of Solomon 14:27. Just going to read one precept. This is my final precept in closing here. Wisdom 14:7. Right in closing, because you get the drift, right? You get the drift, right? You shall not surely die. And the Lord said, you shall surely die. Wow. Okay, Wisdom of Solomon 14. Just in closing here, final one. Okay? Bear with me. Okay, so yeah, 14:27. So let's go right to the point. You know what? I'm going to... Okay. Okay. All right. You know, straight to the point. It says, for the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. Hey, you can hack all you want. Those goyams are all lined up. Right? If you don't believe, and if you're not set up to receive, and if the Lord has not chosen you, you're going to be hacked. You're going to be, right? You're just going to be a simple idol worshiper. Right? That's okay. All right? That's what the Lord chose you to be, so to speak. Okay? It is what it is, man. So let me read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 14:27. For the worshiping of idols, not to be named, is the beginning, the cause, and the end of all evil. See? For either they are mad when they be merry, or prophesy lies, or live unjustly, or else lightly forswear themselves. Okay, starting with 2/3 of our people, man. 2/3 of Israel. Hey, like I said, I don't care about the Goyams, right? There's nothing I can do for them, man. Goyim nations, there's nothing, you nations. Okay? Nothing. Verse 29, it says, for inasmuch as their trust is in idols, which have no life, though they swear falsely, yet they look not to be hurt. The Lord says no mercy. Okay? Howbeit for both causes shall they be justly punished, both because they thought not well of the living power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, giving heed. Right? So the Lord was not in their thoughts. Okay, so listen, man, once you, when if you say no to the Lord, He'll see to it. He's gonna, well, you never had it from the get-go, the Rakakwadash, but He's gonna put you out there on an island, man. Zechariah 13 and 8, man. 2 parts therein shall cut off and die. The Lord's gonna put them to the side, right? And He's gonna thrust 1/3 through the fire, purify them and make them white, right? Purify them and make them white. Okay? Make them white. Howbeit for both cause shall they be justly punished, both because they thought not well of the Most High, giving heed unto idols, and also unjustly swore in deceit, and despising holiness. You see, final verse 31, for it is not the power of them by whom they swear, but it is just vengeance of sinners that punisheth always the offense of the ungodly. Right? Simply put, man. So yeah, the Lord is responsible for life and death. Right? He set it up. Okay? And that's it. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And until the next one, I'm going to say, until the next time, Yahweh Ratazah. Lord willing, it was edifying. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai.